your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
I'm a piece of shit.
I know.
Alright, so everything's good to go. Freddy 4. Alright, dude, I have to straighten out the misses there. I have to tell her, hey, you don't tell me what to do, I do what I want.
Oh, I'm sure you sound like you straightened it right out, dude, man.
I was like,
You're fucking all man. I'll tell you that right now.
I said, I do what I want. I said like exactly like Chris doing that. I don't know why, but it just worked, dude. She was like, she had no power, dude.
Yeah.
No power at all, dude. It was great, dude. Now I know how Chris feels with
No,
it.
you don't say it. You don't say like I do what I want. I do what I want. I do what I want.
Is that how it works, Chris?
Exactly.
You just start snapping them fucking greasy fingers, right? I do what I want.
I do what I want.
I've got some interesting questions tonight, and I'm sure Mark does too. But yeah, so today, before we get into the podcast, of course, tonight we're talking about a Nightmare on Elm Street 4, the Dream Master. So we're doing our Freddy run, dude. Freddy's run. We're getting him over right away. So, but before
the Dream Master.
Yeah,
okay.
the Dream Master, dude. So
doesn't that sound like one of those bad 1994, 95 WCW gimmicks?
Because the Shockmaster, dude.
No.
The Shockmaster. No, they're not getting away that easy.
I could totally see them coming up with a gimmick like that just completely flops. And then, like in mid-summer of 96, the NWO comes in and, improves shit.
I know a guy who flops for everything, dude. Flops down on his couch. Plays that game. You know anyone like that, Chris?
Yeah, I can't say I do.
So, Mark, what interesting questions do you have for Chris before we get too deep into this podcast, Daddy?
Huh?
What kind of questions do you have for Chris before we get too deep into this podcast?
That's weird because I never have questions for Chris, dude.
That's like that one time. You told Mark to ask that you had a question for Jason. Mark was like, "I do? Do I?"
Well, yeah, he always says, hey, I got something to say on the chat, for Chris and you doing this and that. So I always get Mark. I'll let Mark in, dude. Because if you don't ask him, he's just gonna sit there and just fucking make money and shit, dude. That's it.
Yep. Chris hates that, by the way. He hates it.
So today,
why do you hate that, Chris?
Yeah, today we're talking about making money, dude. And Chris was just like, nope.
I got all these excuses in the world not to make money, but money's tight, dude. So I'm not gonna make an effort. I'm not gonna go out of my way to try to improve my situation. It's just gonna happen on its own, dude. End of discussion. It'll come together nicely.
I like when I was talking to Chris about, because I started doing some Ubering just for the extra, what Chris said, the extra cash in hand, for some cash, and this motherfucker, I tell him like, me and my wife, she'll drive and I'll just pick up the food, jump in the car and jump out, and I was like, so it's quite a bit of walking, I'm like in and out, right, and you have to haul ass, you don't want to be a piece of shit, just go in there with the shoulder slouch, anyway. I told Chris, I was like, yeah, you get a good exercise. It's a couple of football fields of work a day, but it's fine. And then Chris goes like, well, I better get in shape first before I do that. Mark goes, how long have you been trying to get in shape?
I don't remember saying that, but I'm saying, I don't remember saying that, but anyway, no, I mean, if it's just, because I did that with Jimmy John's, that's all it was, just, you drive over to the place, you park your car, you walk the food over to whoever. I mean, sometimes it wasn't houses or even apartment complexes. Sometimes it was like, You walk like, 100 feet easy, to walk inside like a hospital, and then you got to go up the fucking elevator to fourth floor, and then you looking for.
You already cut yourself short. You said the elevator. I ain't taking no elevator.
No, but then the frustrating part is like when you're looking for these places, because it's like you get up to the fourth floor, and then you're like, okay, where's this? And you're walking all these different tables, and then they have to call someone to ask. But I mean, hospitals tip decent. I mean, it wasn't huge tips, but it was more than $1. So.
Chris got lost at a few hospitals, dude.
Well, no, there's only 2 hospitals we delivered to. Eventually, I got to know them. Like, eventually, I realized pediatric neuropathy was floor 4 at the Methodist in Stone Oak, and then there's a Baptist in Stone Oak too. So you deliver to both those hospitals, and one of them you sometimes would have to park in right by the ER entrance and put your hazard lights on if it was a first floor delivery. And that's how everybody did it, just like that. I know that's shitty, but that's what they did. Otherwise, you'd be there all fucking, half an hour. But, yeah, no, I mean, that was that. I mean, a lot of times it would be just houses around the area, apartment complexes around the area, sometimes little businesses like in strip malls, and you can walk right in and out. I mean, that's no problem. That doesn't bother me at all.
Then what's the problem then, Chris?
Just I don't want to be doing stop-and-go driving constantly when I have a car that needs repairs.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, dude. I'll head it off to you, dude.
I'm a piece of shit, I know.
Who said you're a piece of shit, dude?
Who said that? Who said you're a piece of shit?
Well, that's what it's going to be.
No, I can't. So one of your friends can ask you a question on, why things are the way they are? Because automatically it makes you a piece of shit? Hello?
Yeah, ask him about what he thinks what's going on in politics, dude.
Oh, that motherfucker won't shut up, right?
Ah.
He will not shut up.
Oh, I mean, right now there's nothing particularly intriguing going on. Like the Mueller report's already over with, and then they dropped the charges on Jussie Smollett, and we've all had our pound of flesh with that. I think if anything, the most intriguing thing was yesterday I came across a video show. It's like Good Morning America, but it's Good Morning Britain, and guess who the fucking host of that show is? Piers Morgan. And he rubbed me the wrong way with the whole gun issue back in 2012, 2013. But honestly, when I listen to him now, and when I reflect back on some old shows of his where he said some things that made sense, I actually agree with him more than I disagree with him. Just he's so strong on the gun issue, again, the other way. But, he was saying, this is such bullshit. And one of the co-hosts on the show, he's like, only in America would something like that happen.
And
what? You are quite the chatty Cathy tonight, aren't you? So since you're in the talking mood, I got a few questions for you, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I have to say about political stuff. That's it.
Okay, well, I'm sure. Well, you got a few other things that we can talk about that that only you know about.
Yes, Master.
You're an expert on. So.
Yes, Master.
We were discussing Joe's new venture,
and I'm happy for him. I think it's great.
Earning a little cheddar on the side.
That's terrific.
And I've been saying this for who's the one that preaches this the most from the chat?
And when I had the Jimmy John's job, y'all trashed me for it.
Hold on. There's a difference between doing a side thing and doing the Jimmy John's thing. There's a difference. Because the Jimmy John's thing, you had to be there at a certain time.
Yep.
This is at your own convenience.
Okay. Uber and Lyft weren't that big in early 2016. I mean, they were around, and I had heard of them, but they weren't as big as they are now.
He's already finding excuses for himself, dude.
I'm saying that's the way it was.
And you were also not as big as you are now back in 2016.
Yeah,
I was. Actually, I was, but anyway.
No, you were not.
Yes, I was.
No, you were not.
Yes,
Don't say that.
Yes, I was. I remember it.
So, are you saying that you've actually regressed? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
You're okay with that, right?
Beat me up. Come over and beat me up then.
Why would I beat you up?
What would you do, Chris, if you just heard Mark close the door and him peel out of his driveway, dude?
Lock mine.
Fucking stop saying stupid shit,
What
Jack.
the hell is that? What's your door gonna do? I kick the doors in all the time. When the tenants just leave? When my tenants just leave, bounce?
Yeah.
And I don't have the key because they changed the lock. What do you think? You think I just wait there for the door to magically open?
Not this door.
Oh,
That's the way I lock.
Not that door.
it's a challenge, dude. He's got.
I've looked at your locks, the way your shit's set up. I mean, that's one of the easier ones to break down.
Not only that, but also the post I have connecting the knobs to the floor.
Well, you see, that's where another reason why I'm smarter than you, Chris. I wouldn't go in through where the posts are at. I would go on the other side, not through the patio, but I'd hit the hinges part. You know, that's easier. But of course, you're not messing with an amateur.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. It's easier for me to break it down that way than it is to the other way. Hello. So, anyways, what I was getting to before you had to argue, you got to fight with me on everything. I don't know why, but so
I know why. He's a piece of shit.
We're discussing Joe's new venture, and how come you don't do it? And then you came up with 1,000,001 reasons why you can't do it.
Okay.
Oh, my car! But your car's not good. Your car's not working the way you would like it to, right?
Not the way I would like it to. It's not, there's genuine problems that could fuck up.
That's what I said. I said not the way that you would like it to, right?
No, but the way that sounds like it's just a little less than ideal, a little less than brand new. That sounds like that. This is genuine stuff that's been computered. No, it doesn't, and I need to get that done too.
Okay. Does the car turn off and on?
Oh my fucking gosh.
He's slamming his desk
again. Does the car turn off and on? Does it go in forward, reverse, drive?
No, I just teleport to work.
I wouldn't doubt it. And you're still late. You live a mile and 0.9 fucking miles, and you teleport, and you're still late. How is that possible?
Chris, reveal to us.
So, proceed with what you're asking. Yes, it turns off and on. Yes, it goes drive in reverse. Okay, what? And then it fucking breaks down on me, and fucking, engine goes out, transmission goes out, whatever the fuck, and then
you shouldn't be
I gotta pay $2,000
to work.
But Chris, you
shouldn't be driving it to work.
But Chris, you still drive your car like every week to your mom's and to go to practice. You make it seem like you act like you never use.
First of all, practice is not every week.
Okay, but if it was, you act like you would just be like, nope, guys, nope, the vehicle's not doing good. Y'all are getting one practice.
Hey, if it was on its last legs like it was, I'm trying to prevent it from getting to its last legs. I'm trying to delay that as much as possible. Mark, if you're interested in paying the repair bill for my car, and then I can pay you back over a period of 6 months or whatever, then yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Well, you're gonna make the money doing the Uber.
So that's what I'm getting at, and I answered this. I asked this question earlier, and it fell on deaf ears for some odd reason. How unusual, but if you have money in savings, it's probably just going to be a few $100s to take care of those items that you need. Right? Why don't you just pull the money out of the savings, go do the Uber deal, instead of putting that money back into, tater tots, fried fish, and what do you call it, chicken nuggets. You just put it back where you got it from, and then once it's done, once you replenish it, then you can use that money that you make on the side for fish sticks, chicken nuggets, and streaming services and all that extra stuff that you feel that you need to have.
Damn. Mark's angry tonight, dude.
Hello.
Okay. Great.
Great.
But I'm happy. But that aside, forgetting me, I'm happy for you, Joey Cage, that you're getting something good going and you're picking something up and you have something as a safety net. If you ever didn't have a job, you have something as extra income.
Man.
When you do have a job. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's a terrific thing to have that. So, I mean, that's good. I mean, like I said, if my car was better when I do get my car better, yeah, I definitely plan on doing that because overtime is not a given anymore. It used to be, and that's not the case anymore. So.
Well, you shouldn't need a job. You shouldn't need overtime to live, first of all.
Ooh.
Or am I wrong?
Yeah. Yes, Master.
I don't know why the master routine. Well, you think you're going to get away with saying that? But why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? Why don't you pull the money out of the savings Because that's what it's for, that emergency fund, and you know you can replenish it.
Then I do that. Then what happens? What happens when another emergency strikes?
You call your daddy,
then
dude.
you replenish the money. You replenish the money, and then you use it again when you need another.
Like I'm going to replenish it all in one day. Yeah, great idea.
Did I say you're going to do it in one day?
Or 1 week?
Because if your car's in that bad of a shape, then you shouldn't be driving it.
Yeah, that's the thing is that you make it seem like, Chris, like if you drive that shit around the block, that it's a goner, you know.
No, but it's just that's a lot of excess stop and go driving on top of the workload I already expect from it on a weekly basis. So I'm.
And
you drive.
1.9
yeah.
miles, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
No, but that, and then I got to drive across to Windcrest to go see my mom. Then I got to occasionally every a couple weeks in a row, maybe every month we'll have band practice or two, that kind of stuff. And I don't want to be, or sometimes even I'll go to someone else's place or whatever. I don't want to be putting all that extra, when I do all that on a car I'm already nervous about, I don't want to be adding extra load to it if it's not right. I want to get the vehicle right before I do that. Anyway, I am happy for you. I'm glad you found this. I'm glad this is something you and the missus can do together. I think you're making extra money. I think that's terrific. Couldn't be prouder. But my time will come for doing that, just not right now.
You're a god.
Why don't you just use the emergency fund? Why don't you do that? I know what the answer is.
Why don't you use your emergency fund and buy a classic Nintendo instead of borrowing mine?
Because I'm only going to use the Nintendo once every 3 years.
Actually, you asked for it twice from me in a span of 10 months.
And how many times after that?
Okay, and how many times did I actually use it?
Twice, actually.
I used it 2 times?
Yeah, and then when I made an issue out of it, you're like, no, just don't worry about it then. And I brought you every system I had because you got so mad about it.
I got mad? Joe, do you remember me getting mad?
Strikes once again. I'm all alone. It feels like the end. He walks with me while I sleep. It's like a...
That is, before you start, you go, I did all this. Okay, when Mark asked you to, hey, can I borrow your Nintendo? I'm gonna go out of town or whatever. What was your reaction, Chris?
I don't even remember the exact reaction. I just know I was...
All of a sudden...
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, jog my memory.
I remember. You were throwing a shit fit.
Go ahead, Joe.
But what did I say?
You were going, hey, can I borrow a Nintendo? All right, dude. Well, that thing is very hard to find, and if you borrow it, and anything happens to it, if anything happens to it, you're buying me another one, and those things cost X. I paid this amount, and then I'm like, man, this guy was blowing up. And then Mark, hey, can I borrow your ice chest? Yeah, go ahead. I don't understand. Why it's such a big fucking a big thing. It's one of your buddies is borrowing. I think it's like a given. Hey, Mark, hey Joe, can I borrow your guitar? Hey Joe, I broke your guitar in half. All right, Mark. Well, I mean, can you just replace it eventually? I'm not gonna throw what the fuck? Before you even had it, you were like blowing the fuck up. Like, okay, no, and you were sending screenshots. I remember of like Amazon that were like 120, and like Mark's like giggling, like, oh my god, Chris, 120. I don't think I can get you that replaced, dude. You better hold on to that bad boy.
It was 140.
Yeah.
It was 140, Joe.
When I bought it at the time, because the supply was so limited.
Yeah.
It was so limited. You had to they only had on Amazon in 2017, early 2017. They only had European editions, and they were 140.
Okay.
Man.
Different now.
Man.
I know it's different now, but I'm saying back then.
No. It doesn't matter if it's different now. It doesn't matter. It's a $140 item. It's not a rare, impossible, one-of-a-kind thing that I wouldn't dare to ask you for. It's a mass-produced item that's worth $140 in today's money. What the fuck is the huge deal?
Mm-hmm. He was ready to end you for that, dude. He was ready to end everything.
It's not some fucking family heirloom that I wanted to fucking wear on my trip. It's a fucking Japanese piece of shit or wherever they make it for.
Yeah, it's Japanese. It was Japanese. You're right, dude. You're right, dude. You're right.
Famicom.
What's the issue? I don't understand it.
It's that
I
old
just-
Why
Christopher
were you
J.
so angry?
Because it was like I said to myself, if something were to happen, he's gonna make me beg like a dog for over a month before I get it back.
Begged like
Like
a dog for you to... Okay. Okay.
That's what I was thinking in my head. Like I was saying,
Oh.
he'll play mind games and joke around and make me beg.
Now, if it was, let's say it was, I don't know, maybe a bandmate of yours that
Uh-huh.
borrowed it, and
Yep.
then it broke it.
Yep.
What and
I love it.
you didn't get it
They
right
have-
away? Would you?
Go
No.
ahead.
But let's say they broke theirs and they're going on a trip, and they had to borrow it. They had to have it. They had to have it. And then something happened, so they lost it. It got stolen. You know, every scenario you gave me, you know, you would have told them if anything happened, you replace it right now. You're gonna make me beg like a dog for it. I know you're gonna do that, right?
No, but I would have not. Maybe not in that tone, but I would have said, "Hey, man, just keep it good," you know, that kind of thing. That's it. But I know that at most, I know they'll probably play a joke on me and be like, "Hey, Chris, sorry to tell you, you know, it didn't really break," but then they'll joke and say that it did just to kind of get a laugh, that kind of thing, and then it'll be fine. Or if they really did, I know that in a few weeks I'll have the money. I mean, they're not rich, but
Okay, so they're not rich,
Mhm.
but you were like, you're gonna replace it. You're gonna replace it.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand why you don't buy one. You're rich. I mean, it's like sneezing for you.
Well, so see, I was funny because when I went to those, it's like sneezing for you. When I had went to that thing at Wyndham, whatever, like that bullshit, you know, and the guy was talking, he made a lot of sense. He was like, you know, rich people or people that make a lot of money, they don't just spend a lot of money. They make their money work for them. And I'm like, yeah, that's what Mark does. He invests his money. He doesn't just, you know, oh, I have money, so I'm gonna buy anything that I want right now, you know, no problem. And it makes sense. The people that don't have money, they just spend it on stupid shit. I mean, unless you're like filthy rich, obviously. But the guys that are making their money and doing things themselves, dude, it's like they're just way smarter with their money. And if he like listen to, you know, because we've talked about it before, Chris. Like if you made, you know, let's just say $100,000 a year, right? What kind of car would you drive?
Probably not nothing brand new.
Oh.
That I learned from Dave Ramsey. You don't do anything brand new, and I
Okay.
see that as a claim adjuster every day. You know, people lose so much on first couple model year cars. So you know, probably like right now in 2019, maybe a 2016 BMW 328i, maybe a Subaru Outback like a 2016.
And Mark, what kind of car do you drive?
Like on a daily basis,
Yeah.
I got a 2002 Ford Explorer and a 99 Chevy pickup. Dude. Hi.
No, but the investment
Oh.
income, I've always said that going back to like 2005. That's I've always known that. I mean, yeah, do I live by that? Am I the best saver in the world? No, but and even Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about this. Dave Ramsey talks a lot about this. Any money guru, whether it's Del Walmsley, etc. If you invest the business system in a system that generates revenue and operates on a profit, then yeah, I mean, you're going to have a system in place where you know you can continue to reinvest in that business and make more money. And as long as you're frugal in those years of building up, then yeah, it's going to be great. And then you have all the money you need to blow on whatever down the road. You know, I am aware of that, and that's why I was the one that told him he should invest in houses back in 09, and early 09 at that. I said, and I came up with, well, I didn't come up with the idea. So the idea to invest in houses and rental properties specifically. I read an article by a guy named Roger Schlesinger, who was a mortgage broker, advertised on AM radio a lot, and he said, and he wrote, I used to read his articles on townhall.com, and he said, what I tell people is your first home you ever buy should be just a small, you know, simple, maybe a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, maybe, and just, you know, get a good equity position in that. Then buy a second house for yourself to be your primary residence, but keep the first house and rent it out. Then you have supplemental income to your job, and then you just keep house jumping. You keep all the houses you ever owned before. You don't sell them. You keep them after you've gotten in a good equity position, buy the next house, and then the next house, so on and so on. But you keep accumulating this real estate portfolio where you have this supplemental income. And so that planted the seed in my brain right there back in 2006.
Sounds like you're rich, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not.
Filthy rich.
Yeah, it sounds like Chris knows I don't know why he's not driving around in a Lamborghini and just has everything, because he knows everything already, dude. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, dude. Doesn't make any sense how someone can know everything, but, complain about their cars, dude. I don't know. Nah, dude, the cars, dude, they ain't over like a son of a bitch, the way I said. The whole reason why we're laughing about this, Chris, is because you were like so hell bent that no, nothing's wrong with the cars, nothing's wrong at all. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Hey, dude, I even drove a yeah, black contractor. Everything's fine. I'm like, what the fuck? And then now it's like, nope, not doing that, dude. I don't want to make extra money, even though if I just do this for a couple of days or whatever, completely pay for the repairs, and it's like I fucking didn't use any of my own money, But nope.
I'm not saying it's not a good idea to do this. What you're doing is a great thing, and I intend to do it one day. It's just right now is not right this very moment, or this month, or even next month is not the time.
Okay, God. Hey, Mark, when's a good time to make money, dude?
When's a good time?
Yeah.
Anytime, dude. As long as you're awake, even when you're asleep.
Yeah.
Even when you're asleep, dude.
That's the thing, dude. That's the thing. I don't get it. I don't get why it's like this. Right now is not the time to make money. Right now is not the time, dude. Joe's giving me some answers, like, the piece of shit's even the piece of shit Joe's making money, but nope. Nope, dude. It's just not the time right now, dude.
Who said you were a piece of shit?
That's what you say whenever you don't win something. Well, I guess I'm a piece of shit then.
Why are you saying it, though? You did something good today. I'm giving you props.
I'm telling you, you can make money. You're like, nope, that's not the time, dude.
Yeah. What have I said? What have I said in the past? I hate when Chris makes excuses because it like rubs off on the rest of the group, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that, dude.
Yeah.
I don't, dude.
He plays that game.
About?
So are you gonna snap my fingers and my car is gonna magically be great like it was in 2015-16?
Why does Mark have to snap his fingers?
Yeah. What does that have to do? You have an emergency fund. You pull out a few $100s. You fix a few items to make it run a lot better, and then you just get the money back in a few weeks.
Not even that, dude. How much total do you think to fix one car?
I have no idea.
Oh, the ignition coils that Chris is talking about.
I need 3 more, and they're 60 apiece.
I can change those in 30 minutes, dude, and I'm not even a mechanic, dude.
Yeah, is that a friend or what? Is that a friend or what? Like he's like fucking. But he's got to go to AutoZone, dude. Or some bullshit. So he's gonna go.
I got it on Amazon. It was cheaper, and they had the OEM part. AutoZone had Value Craft.
Okay.
Oh man.
But all you need, so you need
a big time.
So there's
shot.
How much they cost? You said about 60.
60 a piece.
And how many do you need total?
$180.
Yeah.
So you can't. You know how much I made today, Chris? Did I tell you already?
You did not.
I made $120 today, dude. So actually, awesome. like 105 because I spent 15 on gas, dude. So in one day, and I didn't even spend the whole day. Like if I was all day out there, it was like a total of like 5 hours total. About 105 with the gas. So tomorrow I'm gonna make probably like another 120 and then another 5-10 on gas because you don't spend that much. It's probably you fill up your tank $40 and you have about 3 or 4 days worth of fucking cash. Wow. So what I'm telling you right now, Chris, is you can pay for all these. All you gotta do is buy the parts in about 1 or 2 days and have Mark put that in for you. That's it. That's it. And then you're still gonna come up with some bullshit. But I don't understand it. But
oh yeah,
that's it. I mean. Whenever I need something that I don't know what the fuck, hey Mark, what do you think about this? And Chris, what does Chris do? He just shows up with a new car, dude.
That's it. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's easier for me.
I can't believe. I mean, I know you're your own man and shit, Chris, but I mean, you have someone that's successful and they have like they have things going for them, and you're like, nah, dude, I'm not gonna ask Mark, dude. Yeah, fuck that shit. Like I talk to him every day, but nah. Not gonna ask him about that. Like like when Mark says that you slither away, dude, that's one of the things you slither out of the chat.
What does
dude.
that mean?
You don't know what it means.
Exactly what it means. Exactly what it means.
No, I mean provide content. I know what slither. Oh, okay.
Like a fucking snake.
You try to hide like in the cover of darkness, dude.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a question that you don't like. Dude.
I was telling Lorena about that. I was like, we're there. Like of course, like he he either ignores us or he'll like change the subject, and like I know what he's doing, and then Mark jumps out with, you look at Chris trying to slither away.
I don't remember trying to change the subject on anything today. I was simply.
I mean, not today. I told him. I'm saying.
That's what you do.
Yeah. Yep. He does it every.
I don't remember it today. So.
Okay. Well,
You're
got.
I guess the whole point of me talking about this today, is because you don't think that I want my boys to be enjoying themselves and I have to just wait for their goddamn paychecks from their 9 to 5, dude. You don't think I want them enjoying being motivated? If you motherfuckers are motivated, it's gonna motivate me even more.
Which in turn gets the chat more over, dude. So
yeah.
End of story, dude.
Can you imagine if, let's say, Chris made half of what he makes at his job now on the side, dude? Can you imagine the fucking floating he would be doing to his nose up in the air the whole time, dude? Like
that's what I said. Yeah.
Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, dude.
That's what I'm saying. He like he had said, extra money. No, it's not. It's just you're making money, dude. You're making money. It's just no extra. Like you said, Chris has one extra 180. He's like, oh, dude, what can I spend this on? Like, no, money's money, dude. Like today made me see it. Like, I'm like, you're not buying that fucking candy bar. Nope, not doing that. We ain't spending the $3.
Yeah, you made money today.
Mm-hmm.
I made a few dollars today too. I told you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I told you earlier. And
Chris, how many months off?
I want to go buy. Huh?
How many months off did Chris take after if he would have made that?
Well, he would take the rest of the year off.
For sure.
He would have said, you know what? I'm coming back after Russian Orthodox is over, dude.
Well, go ahead.
The holiday is not called Russian Orthodox. The holiday that you're referring to on January the 7th is Russian Orthodox Christmas, and it's not just Russian Orthodox Christmas. It's also Armenian Christmas. It's also Coptic Christmas.
He's got Google up.
Serbian Orthodox Christmas. No, it's I don't have Google up. I know this.
You're God.
It's Christmas in about 15 countries in the world, including Ethiopia.
That's very interesting, Chris. So. What was I saying? Joe made a few dollars. I made a few dollars. And I was like, man, I should go splurge on something today. And I went to go look for shoes today.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, you know what, dude? I got two pairs of shoes that I spent less than $50 total. I've worn each one of them one time. I said, you know what? I'm going to take those on my trip instead of buying a $74 pair of new shoes, dude.
How much? What?
Why? What?
What'd you say? How much for what?
I said I went to go buy shoes because I was on top. I was feeling good because I made some money today, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna go buy some new shoes. I went to 3 different stores to look at shoes, and I wanted a specific. One time each, sitting at home, in the colors that I want. I said, why am I buying new shoes?
Yeah.
Why am I going to spend the $74, dude?
Mm-hmm.
It's like having fucking multiple TVs in your house when you live by yourself. You're like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Dude?
Yeah.
What's the point? You know?
Yeah, multiple, and then you have a 70-inch as one of them. Like, what the fuck, you know? That you didn't even pay for.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you understand what I'm saying, Chris? Like, why, if I have some money in my pocket, I'm not just going to go right away and go blow it just because I made some money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already thinking, like, that money in my pocket, I was already like, fuck, what can I do with this to get more of this? I was like, shit, dude, I don't want to spend it on $74 pair of shoes, which is nothing for tennis shoes. That ain't shit, dude, for tennis shoes. I saw some of the prices there. I was like, man, fuck that, dude. Fuck all that. You know? So I said, nah, dude. I was thinking on the way home, like, what can I do with this money to make more, dude? So, aside from what I normally do. And then Joe started saying he was Ubering and all that shit today. I was like, oh, now they're getting it. Now they're getting it over there. And somebody else is coming up with excuses.
Yeah, dude, motherfucker, piece of shit. That's the thing, dude. And I was like, you know what? I was just there, and I'm like, I'm still gonna try and look for, like a different job and all that. That'd be nice to have steady work. But I'm like, hey man, if I can do this, it felt good to be able to do things myself, to just be on the road. I guess that's how you feel, dude. Like the pure euphoria that you're just like driving around, dude, and it's like no one's telling you what to do. You just have something you need, you need to do, and you're just doing it. There's no like, oh man, there's someone. It shows you drove. None of that bullshit. You just drove, and I was like, man, this feels fucking good. I'd like to do this, and I'd like to do more things to make money without having to put in the time slot. And like, of course, you have to put in the time, but when you have to listen to, but you don't want. I don't want to be like, hey, you need to be here at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and if you're not, you can't make money no more. It's like, nope, I do what I want, dude.
And most importantly, with all that. You're making money. You're basically on your own schedule. You're probably working harder than you would at your fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, all right, I'm just gonna go through the motions.
Yep.
But more importantly than all that, dude, you get to be on the chat, dude, more talking to your friends, dude.
Oh yeah,
running each other down, dude. That's the best part, dude.
Before we left, I'm like, I better take my headphone, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. I was like, shit. I have endless amounts of trashing time, dude. I was like, fuck this.
I think somebody's shaking right now. They're thinking like, oh, they're going to put all this pressure on me now.
Yeah.
They're going to put all this pressure on me, right? Is that what you're thinking, Chris?
Okay, so Lorena was like, you know what? You can just put in your 2 weeks. They have to pay you, and you'll have enough money doing this, and I'll get something. I'm like, you know what? Man, I'm going to be on a schedule with Mark and Chris now that Chris can't just slither away once it gets to like 12 noon nowadays, where he thinks he's safe. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Well, wait a minute. Well, no, but here's the thing. Put in your 2 weeks, so you're gonna voluntarily as opposed to let them do it.
Yeah.
I mean, are we okay to even talk about this on this?
Yeah, they don't know my real name.
Is the CIA checking this or what?
Mm-hmm.
No. This is a personal matter. Okay, but if you're fine with it, fine. So then you don't want to get the unemployment money then.
I don't think they would give it to me at this point. I think they're trying to find any way to say like I'm a piece of shit, not just fire me because of anything else. Because I had left early those times because I'm like, well, I didn't take my lunch, but I know they're not gonna listen to the voice of reason. Like I left, an hour and a half early because I didn't take my 45-minute lunch and I didn't take my 40-minute breaks because I had to wait here, even though I'm on break the whole time. But I had to wait here for these fuckers to call who never called. And I know that me having those system issues, they're going to have a big issue with that anyway. And when a manager who's asking you for documents to prove something that I know I cannot provide, that's just a ticking time bomb, dude. It's just time to, dude, y'all are going to pay me 2 weeks anyway. I'm going to tell them that I got a job somewhere else with another insurance company. So they have to, just give me my 2 weeks with pay. So, because you can't work. You can't work for them if you work for another company. So. So yeah, dude, and I'm gonna be doing this the whole time, and I'm gonna look for another job. There's plenty of things that there's plenty of things that I've seen already, and I'm sure I'm gonna get something. I'm doing this shit, and like me and Mark were talking earlier. I'm gonna invest in my lawnmower. I'm gonna go spend a little bit of fucking of cheese on that shit to get it over, and do a few yards. It don't have to be like my main thing, but hey, any money is money. So I was like, shit, I could do that too, Do Uber half the day, and then the wife can do the other Ubering shit where it's just pickups, and I go fucking drive around in my truck, dude. Getting people. We'll start off the day like that, So I don't know why you're running me down, Chris. Like acting like
And be on the chat, dude. Don't forget that.
Yeah, I know. Mark's gonna be laughing when he sees the lawnmower gimmick get over, dude. Dude. Joe used to make fun of all the Mohaus, dude. Now look at him now, dude.
He's all dark. He'll be darker than me, dude.
Yeah,
He'll be like darker than me, motherfucker.
Yeah, be the reddest, darkest piece of shit out there.
So you have a lawnmower. You're gonna go, get it tuned up and everything, make sure it works effectively, and then weed trimmer, and then edger as well, I guess.
I have the weed trimmer. I don't know about no edger, dude. I'm like, hey, I'll just trim it, dude, and I'll fucking mow the grass, dude. There's no edging going on here, dude. But it'll get over, dude.
There's a little piece, and I think it's like $15. It's like a little stand with a wheel on it where you turn the weed trimmer kind of like upside down, and it functions as an edger because it rolls straight.
Okay,
you can do that with your trimmer, just regular. You just got to turn it the other way.
That's what I do. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm like, you
It
cut
just
the
keeps
weeds.
it more. Yeah, it just keeps it more consistent though. Like because my parents we had a real edger growing up when I was a kid. And so that was the first thing my dad before I could use the lawnmower. That was the first thing we did was using the edger. Then after that, use the lawnmower. Then so the weed trimmer was fucking hard for I learned quickly don't do this in shorts because the way I was angling it all this tall weeds and grasses and shit it was cutting on my shoes ow that fucking hurts.
You were actually cut the grass for your family at one point, Chris?
Yes, and my grandmother's house too. Fuck yeah. I remember even in 8th grade or summer between 8th grade and 9th grade, I don't remember what the reason was, but the family that had lived in this one house down the street from us, they had moved out, and there was something where I was going to get $40 to mow the backyard in late June, early July, and I did, and it was $40, and it was cool. So yeah, I used to mow lawns all the time.
Man, you got paid for cutting grass back then? My dad used to make me cut the grass, dude.
No, I didn't get. No, I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid. What happened was I would do that at my grandmother's house, or at my mom's or whatever. And I would just always mow the lawns. Whatever.
But that's how you would earn your turtle cheesecake, right? Mom, I did the lawn. Come on.
No, but that was a one-time deal. That one time I had to know. I can't remember even what the reason was, but someone asked. My mom had talked to somebody, and mom, oh yeah, he'll go do it, and da da da.
You were God damn it!
No, I was fine. It was it was actually cool because the grass had gotten high as fuck back in that backyard, so I did it, no problems, and I made $40, and that was that.
Made $40, huh?
Damn.
And all I had to do was the backyard.
Adjusted for inflation today, that's $65. Dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say back then, man, I never got paid shit, dude. Chris is over here bawling.
Chris is rich, dude.
Chris is over here bawling.
He's always been rich.
I know after he cut that grass, he got himself a pint of fucking some cookies and cream for damn sure, dude.
I got 2 gallons.
Oh, I had to. Well, I was at the mercy of my mom taking me there because I was only 14. I couldn't drive.
But you threw a tantrum. Yeah. God damn it. All right, so I guess we'll get into Freddy, huh? Chris?
So we're done with the entrepreneur podcast, dude. The entrepreneur part of the.
So Chris, when you're
Master of the Universe.
Yeah, so you're the only guy that's gonna be, with the steady, well, not the steady job, but with the 9 to 5, dude.
9 to 5:30.
Looking over his shoulder job.
Yeah.
Where he's nervous at. My manager's acting crazy today. He's acting strange.
You remember
I don't know
that?
what that's about.
Yeah. He's never gone.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah, that's the word. That's how I feel now. I'm I don't even want to be there. I don't even want to be in the fucking building because it's what are these fuckers, when and then I had emailed them about that shit and they didn't respond. I'm fuck these motherfuckers, dude. I'm they're coming after me for sure. I'm it's the worst feeling, dude, when you know that someone's trying to take your money, dude. You've ever had that feeling, Mark?
Yeah.
It's not a good feeling, dude. It's not a good feeling, dude. You're you know what? I just rather do things myself, dude. You just want to be left alone, right, dude?
I just want to be left alone.
Yeah, that's it. That's how I feel, dude. So, Chris stresses about nothing. I'm over here stressing about the world, and he's nope, dude, phone's on the charger. Remember that when everything was kind of falling down, and he's dude, yeah, they ain't gonna ask for that, dude. They're not gonna ask for it, dude. I don't know why you're worried, and then, boom, 2 weeks later, dude, the world gets turned upside down.
See, you keep saying that. I don't even remember doing that. I remember telling you that they asked me in 2009, 2011. I don't remember telling you.
But you bringing that up. That's all you needed to do was bring it up, dude.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a different thing, though. But you're saying I definitively said that they wouldn't ask you for it, which I don't recall doing that. Why would I if I got asked for it? If I got asked for it, why would I do that? Why would I if I got asked for it? Why would I say that?
So before we get into the Nightmare 4 podcast or review, whatever, I just want to confirm. So, Chris, are you going to reach into the savings, get your car going right, and start making a little bit extra money?
Not right now.
So when are you going to do it?
I need to see things get a little bit better and be comfortable with the fact that I'll be able to get these repairs done. I may need to arrange certain things a certain way. Who knows? See what happens.
Why don't you get rid of some of the streaming services for a few months so that you can save up faster and start making money faster?
That's not
a
enough.
terrible idea?
That's not enough.
Huh?
It's not enough.
That's not enough. That's not enough. You're paying $100-something a month for your services.
Not 100 something.
200-something.
It's not 200 something. It's not even 100.
Oh, okay. Well, get rid of that. There's a few other things you can get rid of. You were talking about Dave Ramsey. Isn't that what he preaches? Just to only keep the.
Oh, I didn't say I was doing everything he says. I just said I heard him say some meritorious things.
No,
How unusual that Chris does that. He picks and chooses.
Yep.
You know, he picks and chooses what works for him. You know?
Great.
No, it's not great. It's not great. I hate it. I hate that you do that. That you play that whole, money's getting tight, but you're out there doing this and doing that and spending money on this, spending money on that.
I'm sure you're stamping your hands and feet on the floor in anger like a 6-year-old. I
am.
Yeah, he's pissed.
What is the thing? I've said it before.
Marcus,
You're 5 people that you're around the most. That's what you're. I'm like, there's no way, dude. There's no way I'm him.
Sure you're just throwing. I'm sure you're just throwing yourself on the floor, pounding your hands and feet and just in rage like a 5-year-old.
Well, why don't you do it more and we can motivate us more? You can motivate us, Chris.
You're funny.
How
is that funny, Joe? Does that make sense to you?
Of course it does, but Chris is he's just like, nope. Like he's waiting. What are you waiting for? Like I'm just like, it's just very simple. What are you waiting for? Like you said, like it's not right now.
I want to feel comfortable with either that I've got the financing for all this arranged, or that I'm in a position where it won't.
But that's the thing, is that this makes you money.
Maybe.
Not maybe.
And how soon?
It's cash in hand. It makes you money right there.
Wait a minute. Hold on. This is what I need to know about this. Number one, this DoorDash, whatever the fuck. Okay. Do they do a direct deposit of what you earned for the day, or how does this work?
You have an app on your account on your phone. It tells you how much money you made on the trip, which is like minimum $4, and then you get tips. And then at the end of the day, you can do it up to 3 times a day. You just cash out and it goes direct to your bank, and that's it. I have fucking $80 in my account right now because Lorena used the rest for herself. Wait, and then what?
It showed up same day?
Yeah, I have it in my account, motherfucker.
Man, did you hear that fucking thing in his voice? It showed up the same day. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's in my account.
It's like triple the amount of money that you actually made because it's the same day, dude.
Well, no, but I'm thinking to myself, and Joe, we work at call centers that take ACH payments. You know how ACHs work? It's like 2 days before you see it. So I mean, how are they getting around that?
I don't know, Chris. I don't give a fuck as long as it's in my account.
They do that shit on PayPal too. When you sell something on eBay,
yeah,
you can as soon as you sell it, it goes into your account that same day. Or if you do it to the debit card. Or that's your checking account.
That's right. PayCircle's the same way. That's right. And I used that one time, or a couple times actually. So you're right. PayCircle has that too, for the same day. No, no, I'm just thinking out loud here. So they're not using the ACH system. They're using something different that's same day, like a wiring kind of thing.
Not even the same day. You cash it out. I get it in within a minute. Yeah.
So
you can just go to the ATM and get the cash out.
Yeah, it's in my account. Yeah, I can get it whenever I want.
Yeah. So you were. Here's the other thing I'm confused about. You were like, well, maybe not right away. So I'd have to wait maybe 2 days. Like, so what if you'd have to wait 2 days? You gotta wait fucking 2 weeks to get paid from your other job.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck's the difference?
Chris, dude. Can you imagine if Chris was able to do Uber?
He will find anything, and I mean anything, to make an excuse not to put some extra effort in. It's unbelievable, dude.
What is it?
Ray's working again, by the way. I forgot to tell y'all.
What's he doing?
Ray's always been working, just like you. He's just like you.
Yeah.
No, he said he got started back a week or two ago. He got back in the game. So Pest Control's still a different company though.
Fuck that, dude.
I'm gonna tell him to come in one of my houses, dude, on the side.
I had thought about doing that because I saw they play pretty good, But I'm like, fuck that. If they have snakes and shit, I ain't fucking with that, dude.
No, it's not just that, dude, but it's fucking work, dude. You're out in the sun, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck all that, crawling in the attics and underneath the house and all that.
Mm-mm. Can you imagine Ray climbing
You gotta
attics?
you gotta be a dirty, grimy motherfucker for that, dude.
Ray, it's Ray's calling card,
So
dude.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect, dude. Like a hedgehog, dude.
That's that motherfucker for sure, dude. No big deal.
No, but I was happy for him because I mean, after what he's been through and everything, and he hasn't worked in 3 months, so it's getting back on his feet. That's good for him.
That's it. Ray's gonna get into another accident, dude, because you monkey paw him.
Yep, fucking totally disabled after that, dude.
It's good for him.
So now,
What's up, Ray?
What other excuse do you have now?
No, I mean, it's just I'm getting ideas formulating in my head.
Oh my god.
Cash in hand.
I've never heard anyone hate money so much, right? Like somebody.
He loves money, but he hates it at making it at the same time.
Yeah, he just
That's
wants
the
to be
thing.
given to it, dude. He just wants it to show up in a sack, dude, in his front door.
Why? Oh, I had an idea. I was gonna tell you earlier, dude. And believe it or not, it's not about running Chris down, dude. So. Can you believe that?
Let's hear it, dude. Chris
What the hell
is so fucking hell
I'm
bent.
asking Joe, you didn't answer it.
Yeah, I did give you a thumbs up.
You did. There it is. Okay, cool. So you use that to get paid and track your orders.
I get paid, dude. That's all that matters. Yeah, I get paid. That's it.
But that's the app you use to track your orders.
Yes, Chris.
Before I go to my idea, dude, we're getting way off track, but it's all right, dude. I can talk about entrepreneurship all day, dude. So, before I get to my idea, god damn it, I just forgot, dude. Not the idea, but what else I was gonna say, dude. Son of a bitch.
That's what happens when you hang around with Chris.
I know, dude.
You get you
I'm
too
thinking about a
worked up.
cheeseburger.
Yeah, too worked up and distracted, dude. You start thinking about shit you don't
I
normally
know,
think
dude.
of.
Yeah.
Before
Oh, Chris makes me mad, dude. He makes me mad.
Chris, one more
But-
thing, dude. It's gonna be September 7th soon, dude.
September 7th?
I'm sorry, April 7th. Where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
Chris,
I was like-
September 7th? Where the
I was like, I
fuck?
wish.
Joe,
No, don't care.
Joe's living in the fucking future, dude.
Like, I wish it was September 7th. Shit.
You know what I was thinking today? You know exactly what I was thinking? Like I was telling Mark, or telling y'all, I was like, oh, and I know how Mark feels when he's just like cruising and, like you don't have any like, oh, tomorrow I gotta go to work or whatever, all that shit. Cause I was there working and I'm making money and I'm like, man. And then I saw the church's food thing and I was like, oh, that's right. It's like, we're gonna have some fried chicken on Sunday, not Sunday, but I was like for the WrestleMania, and then I was like, oh, WrestleMania is this fucking weekend already, dude, and I'm not gonna be stressed out about nothing, dude, because I'm my own boss, dude, so now I can, stay up late and trash Chris and Ray all fucking night, and I have to worry about I'm gonna be back at work tomorrow with that piece because I'm doing shit. Now, like, that's how Mark feels every day, dude. It's like he goes to bed just like. Right?
So when you thought about that and you saw churches, you thought,
well, I was just there waiting because those motherfuckers had fucked up. But I was just, yeah, fuck yeah. I was happy, dude. I'm like, man, I feel good, dude, knowing that I'm just work. This is work, I'm here, like, cruising, doing my shit, and I'm gonna do some other stuff to make money. And it just felt good to know that, I don't got this, my boss and my boss's boss, and you got to be careful what you say around other employees. You got to dress a certain way. I mean, I still get dressed up to go do this. I don't want to look like a piece of shit, but it feels good because you're doing shit yourself. You're not, around these. You don't have to be phony like when you're in an office building, dude. And. When you want to take a break, when you want to have lunch, you don't have to. Well, let me see if they approve my lunch at this time. It's like, nope, I'm taking lunch after this one. Yeah, right.
They don't, and that's the thing. It's a liberation. It's a freeing. It's a removal of the albatross. But at the same time,
the removal of the albatross. God damn, motherfucker, getting himself over tonight.
But at the same time, it's also they remember too. The end game. They don't want you there.
Yeah.
And they don't want a lot of the old guard that were there, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and you and I were on that same team with Mike W. So they don't want our old supervisors. They don't want us there. They don't want us old guard there. I got out and a few other people got let go, and a few other people went other places and stuff, and a few that remain that didn't make it to management, they want it to be nothing but new people who are going to be ingratiated in the new system and the new ways of doing things, and they're not going to remember the old ways of how it was back in 2011, 2012.
That's the thing that you are right about for once, dude. Is that because they have so much new systems and new way of doing things. Is that to keep these people that have been here for 5, 10, 20, however long years doesn't matter, because even though they were great at what they did, like things are always changing, so they're having to learn new shit too. So it's like we'd rather just have someone that's brand new, pay them less, and learn the new shit anyway, because these other people are getting paid more and they're learning the new shit. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But fuck all that, Chris. I'm still trashing you on Sunday, dude. So I can't wait, dude. Did you remember what your entrepreneur-ish subject was, Mark?
I had a question, dude. I had a question. Like I said, believe it or not, it's not running Chris down, dude. The one time of the day I'm not gonna run him down, dude. So you better partake in this, Chris.
Put your seatbelt on, Chris.
So it's kind of like being in a think tank right now, dude. So,
All right.
except Chris, he's thinking about fucking fried fillets and
No,
tartar sauce or some shit.
he's doing the hand gesture, like, come on, let's hear it. Yeah, he's doing.
Those are all the
Yeah.
fillets are all gone, so you're lying about me.
Fillets are on. Jokes on you, that piece of shit.
Oh, it's like Dale Grohl. Joke's on him. I don't even make a living wage.
So here's the think tank. I was thinking about this while I was working out, dude. I was like, man, let's say I'm just gonna throw out a number, dude. Say you had $1,000, dude. Like you're taking somebody on an Uber, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the dude forgets he's got a fucking $1,000 in pocket money. He fucking leaves it in the seat, dude. You're like, fuck that. I'm gonna grab it, dude. I'm gonna grab it. What is there something that you would do with $1,000, dude? Remember, it's all profit after that. It's all profit. Whatever you do with it. I know Chris would blow his on whatever, but what would you do right away to you get in your head like, oh, dude, I gotta turn this in. This could be my big break, dude. $1,000 be my big break. I can start using this to make money, dude. What would you do with $1,000, dude?
What would I do with $1,000?
There's no right. There's not a right or wrong answer, dude. I'm just trying to get ideas, dude. Because sometimes I have a few extra dollars laying around the house, and I'm like, oh, what can I do with this? I'm not gonna go buy shoes. I'm not gonna buy a 70-inch TV or 100 or whatever. I'm not gonna get 4 TVs and a futon and stuff I don't need. That's for damn sure, dude. I always think like, what can I do with this money that I can turn it around and make it into something else, dude, so that, when the child support comes, I don't have to, feel it, dude.
Yeah.
So, what would you do with $1,000, dude?
Well, what comes to mind is, you could make more money off of that, with, selling. Like, I was just, because I always see, these taco trucks and places, and I'm like, well, if you bought stuff that's kind of cheap and you could see how you're doing out of the 1,000 to spend like $100 or $200 on just kind of chicken, rice, and beans and shit like that, and try and sell plates, dude. But you have to do it smart. Like maybe outside the Spurs SB after a Spurs game or something like that, just go be out there by the street and just sell some plates, dude. That's small-minded shit, but I'm like, well, you can make a real big killing off of it because chicken's cheap, rice and beans are cheap, and you sell it, after the game for like $10 a plate, dude. You get all your money back and a lot more. And I was just thinking about doing shit like that because I'm like, man, these taco trucks they charge a lot, and people always spend like $20 a pop. You know what I mean? I was like, I saw these 4 dudes working. I'm like, man, they can afford to have 4 dudes there working. I would want to keep that between me and like one other person. I was like, they must be really raking in the dough, dude. So once you make more money off of that, then maybe you can get yourself a little gimmick truck, you know what I mean? A taco truck kind of thing. But it don't have to be tacos. It could be barbecue or anything else. But, just something that has to do with food.
Fillets.
Fish fillets, pieces of shit.
Fillets.
Yeah. But that's what I thought, something
Chicken
small.
nuggets and fish fillets.
Yeah, because it's like food. You can charge anything you want for it, dude. You know what I mean? And you can just fucking rip people off, basically. Because people spend $2 on a fucking soda,
But hold on. Let me rephrase the question, dude. Do it where there's no There's no permitting needed. You're not going to report it to the IRS. That you keep it for yourself, dude. You know what I'm saying? There's no regulation on it. There's got to be something that you can do with it, dude. Something you can do that you don't have to get some kind of government entity, some kind of fucking city entity involved in, dude.
With $1,000?
Anything come to mind?
No. I mean, yeah, I'm not engulfed in the real world like you, man. That you come across shit all the time like that. So what is it, dude? What's the secret?
No, there's no right or wrong answer, dude. I'm asking you to think about this. Ask the wife later, like, hey, do you know of anything that, if we had $1,000? But let's say I said, hey, you know what? I got $1,000, dude. Is there something that we can buy and reinvest, and then we, of course, first money in, first money out would be me, and then we split the profits, dude. Mm-hmm. But I have to approve it. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You talk to the wife, saying, hey, look, we might get $1,000. Do you have anything? Some guy's not gonna have the DEA coming after us either, dude. So, is there anything maybe somebody has an inside track to? Hey, this guy has a bunch of shit in his garage and he just wants to dump it, dude. It's worth $5,000, and we piece it out. It's worth $5,000, but he'll take $1,000 for it right now, And of course, I'd have to approve it,
Yeah.
Real shit. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. I know Chris is like shaking right, like, you're gonna put all this pressure on me. It's just a question, Chris.
No, for me, in light of what we've discussed today, I would use it to get, some good, looking at some of my vehicles to what do I need to do to get, make sure they're rock solid, really running good, everything. Because, the Nissan was going great, for like 4 straight months, all the way until literally 2 weeks ago. And then I noticed it started heating up. Like, I thought we had gotten the radiator resolved. And I remember, Take 5 telling me, hey, you're eventually going to need to get this radiator replaced. And the good news is the actual part's only $120. OEM part online on Amazon, but then installation, all that stuff. So I'm wondering if the radiator went out or if there's something else went out, because it started overheating the last time I used it. I haven't used it since. That was a week ago. Now on the Toyota Corolla, I know the ignition coils, but I know there's some kind of either a leak or it's burning oil, because I'm having to put in a quart like every 10, 12 days. So those kind of things, and just really make sure the cars are on good footing so I could use them if I wanted to do DoorDash, if I wanted to do Uber, if I wanted to do Lyft, if I wanted to do Uber, whatever the fuck to make extra money on the side here and there. Yeah, that's where I would go with that, because those are going to be, no pun intended, the vehicles of doing that.
Anything else, Chris?
Other than like an MLM type thing, I can't really think of any kind of money, like the $1,000. What can you really do other than be part of a larger consortium that, everyone puts in toward an end, like everyone invests $1,000 toward a taco truck and that kind of thing. Like, I can see that, but.
This is the kind of stuff that I do, and I like start calling around to see who's got what and shit. But I'm just giving you examples. I'm not saying that you guys have to know somebody like this, dude. I'm just giving you examples. So that way your mind can start working a little bit, tomorrow, the next day, and we can come up with some ideas, and maybe we can make some money, dude. Is this making sense to y'all?
Yeah, this kind of thing that you're doing, I've heard a lot of, like, Tony Robbins has done this. I've heard on some of his speeches, so it's like, it's a good way to think. I don't disagree with that.
Oh, Harry, he's ready to trash you, dude. That's all this is.
Oh, that fucker. So this is the kind of shit that I do. Like, I know a roofer that works for companies like a home builder. All they do is brand new homes, subdivisions and shit.
Yeah.
And they'll order like extra shit for their. They order so much shit that it's extra, and then they just have it sitting there. And like the superintendent's like, I just want it out of here. I want it gone. It's gonna cost us more to get it, transport it back to wherever it came from, and all that shit. So you guys do what you will. So he basically sells it to me at like 30 or 40% of what it costs retail, and then I sell it at 70% of what it costs retail, dude.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Son of a bitch.
That kind of shit.
Yeah, I know. No, I get it now, dude.
Okay, what is it tonight? Tell me what the hell is wrong. Do you wanna eat? Do you wanna sleep? Do you wanna drown? Just settle down, settle down, settle down.
If you trash Chris, I'm all for it, dude. As long as there's more time to trash Chris,
Yeah.
that's my only concern, dude.
So we can have the multiple podcasts, the horror one, the movie one, and then the one where we just trash Chris, and then like the one with the news stuff and things like that. So there's all the different types of shit like that. There's not just the one. So, when you have multiple ones,
I thought the trashing Chris like just blends into all of them, dude.
It
That's
does.
the way I like to keep it, dude.
time
Hello?
I record. Yeah.
Mic off.
Chris is banging on something over there. Chris?
Hello?
Hello?
Mic on.
Give me a
What'd
second.
you have for dinner, Chris?
Mic off.
I told you what I had for dinner.
I don't remember. What did you tell me? No, you said something about chicken. No. You said something about chicken, but it was just like out of nowhere. You didn't say you were making chicken or anything. You're like, man, that chicken was delicious. Like it just came out of nowhere.
I told you earlier in the day that I was going to make thin sliced chicken breast and breaded in this Italian herb seasoning kind of breadcrumbs that I had bought before.
Didn't you say yesterday? Didn't you say that yesterday?
I was going to, and I didn't have them thought out enough, so I just said fuck it.
Oh, so what you're saying is you said it yesterday, and we're supposed to know what you're making today because you said it yesterday.
No, I told you today. I said today that that's what I was going to do.
All right, you're a god, Chris. Yeah, everyone knows he's a god, dude. So, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, dude, The Dream Master, released in 1988, directed by Renny Harlin, dude. Y'all know what Renny Harlin did? Or directed?
I don't. I can't say I do.
Die Hard 2,
the word-
dude.
I was gonna say, do the words Debbie or does come out in it, dude? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, he did a Die Hard 2 right after this, and he also did Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone, and that was about it for him, dude. After that, he's turned into a piece of shit, like someone I know. But pretty good director. This film, it made $49 million out of the 13 budget.
Yeah.
And
not only that,
go ahead.
They've spent $13 million as a budget. However, by the second weekend, they had already netted a profit of about $6.5 million.
Yeah, it was the highest selling Nightmare film until I think Freddy vs. Jason. So, it did really well, dude.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was the fight. Well,
Why?
Well, because the third one was such a success that this one, everyone came to see it, dude. Even though it's not, to me, it's not better than the third one. But we'll get into that one. And Chris, can you just give a brief, a synopsis on this one, dude? What happens on this Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah, so it's a perfect continuation from part 3. So the story here is it's continuing with Kristen, and she's continuing to have the dreams, even though Freddy is the beginning thesis, whatever you want to call it, is Freddy is dead. They buried him, they poured holy water on him, they threw the crucifix down on him. He's dead. So why is she still having dreams? And she's calling in Kincaid and Joey, who we met in part 3, and they're telling her, no, he's dead. Well, they're going to later find out that he isn't dead, and he's going to go on a killing spree like never before. So enter Alice, who is probably, but the movie doesn't say it outright, the fraternal twin of her brother Rick, who's Kristen's boyfriend, and then Kristen is going to be the new dream warrior of a different sort. She's mildly clairvoyant.
All right, that's
What?
pretty.
I thought a brief summary would be, hey, Freddy's chasing teenagers and he's trying to kill them. But
Yeah, you can go that route, dude. So, Chris, was this your first time watching this film? It was, right? That you told me.
Any Freddy film that we watch is my first time, unless it's the new Nightmare from 2010.
Okay, so I'll remember that. I'll make sure to kneel down to you later. So, I had thought about this today. We're not going to get into too much detail as far as like the characters yet, but when you're watching a film like this, and like, cause you really don't know which kids are going to survive and which ones are going to die. Were you surprised that like Kirsten dies in this one?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was, and in fact, that's the thing. That was something I didn't like. I thought the deaths of the established known characters, who they did such a good job with introducing and getting you to get behind, I thought died too early.
Yeah. And then were you surprised that like, well, for me, like I said, we'll get into it in more depth, but like when Alice's brother Rick dies, I was all like, man, he's like the only character I kind of thought of, that like, I cared about, and like they got rid of him like kind of shitty. But were you, like I said, were you like for those kills, were you kind of like, whoa, what the fuck, like, you know, is no one safe here, dude? Even the characters that are likable.
No, honestly, you know, some dude, and I guess you and I are gonna differ on Rick Johnson. I mean, I really didn't think that highly of him. I mean, I didn't like hate him, like, oh, what a douchebag or whatever. But I really just didn't really care for him. I was kind of apathetic toward him. But
you didn't want to come after him with the sandwich.
No, not at all, not at all. But I just didn't really care. But the thing is, I didn't think he was that great of a character. I mean, as good of characters as we've had in previous Nightmare movies. Having said that, I would have loved to have seen an established, you know, let's say from part 3, continue all the way to the end and make it all the way to the end, you know, not untouched, obviously, but not dead. Didn't happen. But, you know, I just think that the new characters that they introduced in this movie, I'm being honest with you, and I didn't really care for them. I didn't think they were that fantastic. I thought part 3 was excellent. Honestly, part 1 and 2 were good too, but part 3 I think was the best. But these new characters here didn't do a whole lot for me.
Okay, that's pretty good. So, Mark, what's your story behind Nightmare on Elm Street 4, dude? Growing up.
I like what's my introduction to
yeah, you know,
this fucking awful movie?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think it's a piece of shit. I mean, the best part about it is it's got a good song in it, dude. You know, that's about it.
So when you saw this,
that's really the only thing as a child that I remember, dude. Is the fucking song in there, dude. But that's it, dude.
That's really the soundtrack. Yeah, well, it's funny with me because, I mean, I've told my story 1,000 times about it, but this is the one that I watched the most growing up, dude. Part 4 was just, I would put this on all the time because the first one was way too fucking scary to watch, right? The second one was a little too gay and scary to watch, dude. The third one, it was like I had it on a shitty recording, so I didn't pay too much attention, and it was still kind of dark. And then 5 was kind of. It's gay. Oh my god, it was just. Well, I mean, at the time I didn't know it was gay, dude. It was just kind of like, you know, why is that dude dancing to this kind of fucking music, you know? And then he does the popper with the fucking pop gun, whatever. I was like, okay, I don't know what that has to do about anything, but okay, that's what I was thinking. But this one, it was like the perfect one because it's like people that usually watch this one, they refer it to as the MTV Nightmare on Elm Street because this is like it has the music and a lot of action for a Nightmare on Elm Street film. It's like got like kind of a cheesy horror feel to it with a lot of shit going on and a lot of over the top. I mean, of course, it could have been made a lot better. The story could have been a lot better, but as a kid, I didn't care about any of that. I was just like, you know, Freddy's not in the dark the way he was in the other films, so I kind of enjoyed that as a kid, and it was just, yeah, I've seen this film, I mean, for real, like at least 100 times. It's ridiculous. So that's my story growing up with it. But tell us how this fucking film starts off, Chris.
All right, so we start off once again with 19 piece of chicken, blue moon. So we start off with Kristen, who once again finds herself in the dream world, and it's this. You hear the theme song of Tuesday Night, who plays Kristen. I was reading up on that, and she's walking up in a gray sky night, walking up, and sees a little girl drawing, you know, the sidewalk chalk, which I remember playing that when we were kids, and she's drawing that house with the sidewalk chalk, and approaches her, and then sees the Elm Street house.
I like that part, dude, because, well, before the film starts, right before that, they have that over-ass song, Running from This Nightmare. Did y'all jam out to that shit or no?
That actually was a good song. I did like that.
Yeah, running from this nightmare, I turn around. Like you didn't like that one? Tuesday night sings that, Chris, just for the record.
I know. I was reading that on Wiki. Tuesday night.
Who the fuck is that?
Monday Night Sister, dude.
No, so what it is no, Tuesday nights, instead of Patricia Arquette, Tuesday night is the actress that played Kristen. So it speaks to her talent, being able to sing that good and,
Well,
act,
I guess we should mention that, like you said. So instead of Patricia Arquette playing, Kristen Parker, now we have Tuesday night taking her place, because I think that there's two different stories. That one was Patricia was pregnant, and the other one was that she wanted more money. Probably was both. I don't know. But so they had recast her, and and it kind of like fucks it up, because it's like we have this character with Tuesday night before we start going into the story, I guess. She doesn't she's like, Patricia wasn't a good actress in the other film, but this chick in this one, like, you don't care about her at all, am I right? Or does anyone give a fuck about her?
I agree with you on that. I didn't like her. Oh, good.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I didn't like her for being Kristen as much as I like Patricia Arquette. I wouldn't say she was bad. It's just, it's so soon, a year later, to have a sequel, and it's not the same actress, especially for such a key character. At the same time, though, she made the best lemonade with the lemon she was given, and she did a great job singing the opening theme, which I liked and I thought very much fit the time of this movie. By the way, let's not forget Patricia Arquette, older sister of a former WCW World Champion.
Yeah, Alexis Arquette. No, I'm kidding. What's his? I forget his fucking name. David Arquette, right? That's his name. Yeah. So, but so Mark, did you have a problem with Tuesday night taking in Kirsten, or taking the Kirsten part, dude? Did that ruin it for you? Do you think if Patricia Arquette?
Oh man, I was fucking devastated that Patricia Arquette wasn't there, dude. Man, fucking took me right out of the movie, dude. Man.
But don't you think? Yeah, I know you're being a smart ass piece of shit, but I'm saying, don't you think? If she was there, would have been? Do you think it would have made a difference? Or I think the story would have been a lot different.
It's the same. It's the same thing to me, dude. I mean, it's plain kind of white girls with little to no emotion. Just And you might as well just have them both just sitting on the couch, just wasting their weekend away, dude, eating fish fillets and drinking beer, dude. That's what it seemed like to me, dude.
Yeah.
But what do I know?
Yeah. So like Chris was saying, so like Kirsten's having a dream and she's in front of the Elm Street house, and the little girl's drawing on the cement, dude. And I liked, even though it's cheesy, I liked it as a kid when the little girl moves her hand from the window and it's Freddy in the cement on the on the floor, and I was like, and then dun, 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 and then it starts raining and all that, and she goes into the house.
And there's still the fucking little kids in front of the house doing the hopscotch and riding on their bikes and stuff. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Can you sing it in Spanish?
Yeah. Hello.
Lorena's singing it in Spanish, dude, for our Spanish listening audience, dude. So, and so Kirsten ends up in the house, and the house is completely different. Like, cause on the other films, there's not much going. Because the first two, the house is normal, right? But the third one, it's all beat the fuck up. But we don't see too much in it. We just see like it's all over the top, right? When she's running through the hallways, when Freddy's chasing her in part 3. But this one, now it's like a haunted house, like where like all the curtains are torn up and like they have the stairs. It's not even like this. They don't even look like it's the same house as from the first one, but it's supposed to be, right? And then she goes to the boiler room downstairs, and that's when Joey and Kid and Kate make their return, dude, from part 3, dude. They're the only ones. They're the surviving ones that are back, and they got the real actors for it. And that's when what's his name? Kincaid's dog, dude, jumps out and attacks Kirsten for pulling him into the dream. Did you freak out, Chris, when that dog came attacking, dude?
Yes. And I was like, because I mean, and that's the thing. Like when they're in the boiler room and she calls in Joey and Kincaid, and then they're trying to assuage, and then like Kincaid's getting all like mad black man on her. He's like, Freddy is dead. How many times I got motherfucking say that? You know, like that, and then like, well, of course
Yeah.
and then Joey's trying to be the cool chill guy. You know, hey, why are you even worried about this? You know, and he's having her hand on the pipes and all that stuff, and trying to show her, look, it's cold. It's not even hot. How can Freddy be alive?
Yeah.
And lo and behold, the fucking dog Jason goes out there. And by the way, this crossed my mind with that dog Jason. Do you think they did that as a shot at the Jason movies?
Of course, dude. Of course. I think they even said it too on one of their documentaries.
We're living in desperate times. These are desperate times, my dear. There's no way out of here. There's no way out.
So yeah, they did mention that. They had named the dog Jason just to jab it in Jason's eye, dude. Just to get back at him. And the next day they're at school and like they're all kind of like telling her like, hey, if you keep going there, to the boiler room, you're gonna stir them up again, dude. And what would you? How much shaking would you do, Chris? If I don't know, let's say like Mark, dude, had the power to bring you into a dream, dude, and like Freddy Krueger was real. And like he kept bringing you in, dude, because he's like, hey, dude, I think Freddy's coming after someone, dude, like an ex-band member. Would you start like flipping the fuck out, dude?
Probably. What am I gonna do?
It's not Freddy. It's just an ex-band member, dude.
Oh. Yeah. I'd be like, I'd figure out ways to maybe put a telekinetic block on my brain or something. I don't know.
Can you imagine the shaking that would go on, dude, if you had the power, dude, with ex-bandmates, dude?
And Mark could be pulling you into dreams about having a ex guitar playing friend of yours be moving into your house.
Yeah.
Come on, man! I got this song I want to show you, dude. And,
yeah, for real. I'd be like, nope.
My girlfriend kicked me out, dude.
Yeah, come pick me up. I'm downtown, dude. We'll make the band come back. I'm like, nope, not doing that, dude. So
Hell yeah.
So fast forward, after like there's a slash in the real world on the locker rooms of Freddy. That's when Kincaid has the dream, dude. And talk us through this dream, Chris, because I thought this was like the best scene of the whole movie when Kincaid's in that. He wakes up in the fucking junkyard.
Yeah. I agree. The scene had a lot of merit to it. It was cool in a lot of ways. Didn't care for the ending of the scene, but that's another story. But yeah, no, that was fucking cool. Like Kincaid's home, laying down on the bed, dog Jason, faithful friends there too. And lo and behold, he goes into this dream, and he's in the fucking junkyard. He's in the salvage yard, cars stacked on top of stacks of cars. And then he senses, and the dog comes in the dream too. And how the dog got there, I don't know.
Everyone talks about that, like. To me, it was just like simple that when Kirsten kind of like brought him into the dream, he kind of like, I don't know, just attached himself to Kincaid basically whenever he went to sleep now. So the dog's dreaming about Freddy. Like once Freddy brings you into a dream, you're his, and I guess that's the thing. Same thing with the dog, and the dog started freaking out. Yeah, he did the old piss with fire, and everyone would say,
yeah.
why is the dog pissing fire? And Jason, our good friend, they used to be on the podcast. He had kind of said, it's like, well, it's kind of desecrating the grave, So when he peed on it, because they had blessed the holy ground or whatever it was going to be, that was kind of like completely undid everything. So when people say, well, how does Freddy come back? I guess that's, to me, it makes sense. Like, yeah, he pissed on his grave, dude. Some guy that. The only thing worse than that is someone came up to someone's grave with like a bucket of piss.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a different.
Anybody that would do something insane like that?
I cannot say that I do, but having.
I completely forgot about that shit. What was that? What did he say, Mark, dude? How did he get it over? That one guy, that one maniac that we know. And then when they bury him, and then when they see, there's all these promos I forgot about.
He'll look through the newspaper obituaries, dude. I looked through the newspaper obituaries, find out where he lives, find out where he's buried. He'll take a bucket of his own piss. He won't piss there. He'll bring a bucket. That's how worked up he is. He wants to make sure there's enough, dude. That's the whole thing, dude. Like, that's the insanity, dude, that somebody would do some shit like that, dude. Think about that, Chris. How fucking insane is that?
And then I'll take a bucket of piss.
Don't think it's that insane. I mean, it's
Perfectly normal,
pretty
dude.
normal.
Oh my god, that was one of the funniest promos. I was like, is this guy all there today, Deke? It's like, and then I'll take a bucket of piss and I'll pour the fucker on.
Yeah,
oh my god, was that for an ex-bandmate or somebody else?
No, that was another guy.
Oh, it was for I know who it is now. The Stingray, dude.
No, but
oh my god, go ahead.
So Freddy's alive again. I think that is a good explanation of why he's alive again. Is that like the dog, firing, pissing on it?
I think they would have got more over, dude. Is that Kincaid's in the dream instead of a dog? Chris just shows up with a bucket of piss, dude. Just does. What do you think about that, Chris?
That's an interesting concept. But so then he just screams out loud and it just echoes beyond
Kristen!
the whole room.
Freddy's back! Oh, before all that.
Reverberating like 10 times, and then Freddy's walking around the fucking salvage yard, in full gear, full attire, full fucking sweater, door, all that bullshit. And lo and behold, he sees him, and then he gets on top of like cars and he pushes a car off and it falls on him. He's all celebrating, arms in the air, like the skeleton did when it buried the Dr. Gordon.
Yeah.
Well, then lo and behold, he comes. He's fucking Freddy. He's fucking doesn't exist in the third dimension. With bodily organs. He's overcomes all that shit.
Yeah.
So he's you shouldn't have buried me. I'm not dead.
Yeah, I thought that was badass, dude, when he did that. And yeah, Kincaid uses his strongman powers, and just flips that car like no big deal, dude. And the reason why Chris would be in that junkyard with the bucket of piss was because he was looking for those parts he needed, dude. For his fucking car, dude. He was looking for those
coils.
Yeah.
Ignition coils, dude. Yeah.
They tell him, "Yep, Fred got the last of them," and he runs over with the bucket of piss, dude, just because he's a piece of shit. So yeah, Freddy comes back to life, and it has that kind of reverse gimmick, when like they have like a body and then they just melt it and then they reverse it for it to come back to. It looks like where it's coming reanimating, I guess. So I thought that part was pretty badass, and you see Freddy just pick up the hat and dust off the dirt on it, dude, and yeah, that's when he chases him, and it's over pretty quick, dude, and then yeah, he just stabs him in his gut, dude, and he goes, "I'll see you in hell, nigga," and he goes, "Tell him Freddy sent ya." Oh,
yeah.
So
hey, put that to a Cuban beat.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you find that? Why do you think that's humorous, Chris? I don't get it.
It just is. Oh my god, Jason was over, dude. I mean, whatever you want to say about him, whatever, but he was an entertaining guy to listen to.
He was pretty funny, dude. He was but you had to have him. You had to like kind of catch him in the right mood, or else he would just kind of like go off and like someone else I know, dude.
And he has to be guided. Like you can't give him free reign.
Yeah. So.
Hey. Chris can't come to the phone right now. He's at a Hitler rally.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
He's a piece of shit, dude. That's what he should have said, dude.
And then right after that, I think it's probably the same night Joey gets fucking pulled into his waterbed, dude. Did y'all ever have waterbeds at any point?
Okay, no, but I had my next door neighbor friend, Mark, you remember Aaron, right? Aaron Marsh?
Just tell everyone's name, dude. Fuck it.
Oh, the guy didn't even live here. No, but so yeah, I remember like when I was in 4th grade and he was in 5th grade, his parents bought him a waterbed, and I would sometimes go over there and sleep over there. Sometimes he'd sleep over my place, I'd sleep over to his place. And man, I remember I couldn't wait to sleep on that water because that thing felt comfortable as fuck, as long as you stayed away from the border edges.
My parents had one, I remember it, but not too much. But yeah, it's pretty funny, dude. The fucking that's when there's a Billy Idol song that comes out, dude, when Joey's jamming. And Joey's got the fucking sound system from hell, dude. You see his setup, dude? He's got all kinds of shit in his fucking room.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, just like that, all the guys from Nightmare 3 were all killed off, and that's it, dude. So we get introduced to a bunch of other pieces of shit. So now we got, of course, Kirsten, and then we have Alice, like you said, Chris. We got Rick, who's Alice's brother. We got Debbie, who's supposed to be like the chick that works out, but she's got no muscles. And we got Sheila, who's like the geek, I guess, or whatever. And then Dan. Did I mention Dan? He's the jock guy, dude. He's the big bad cool pimp of everyone, dude. So that's really all the characters that we have. And what happens once everyone dies? Oh, that's when Kirsten's all like, Joey and Kincaid, they were murdered. She starts telling everyone, and no one believes her, dude. But the thing is about this film is like, how does everyone not know who Freddy Krueger is already? Because if he killed like about 20 kids or whatever, like they say in the first film, like what the fuck? Like no one knows who Freddy is still, dude.
I know. That's like living in San Antonio and not. That's like living in San Antonio and not knowing about the donkey lady or the haunted railroad tracks.
Or the bucket of piss, dude.
Bucket of piss, exactly.
You ever known somebody that works a bucket of piss? Give me Chris.
Can't say I do.
I like when they all meet up for school. Like I don't know if it's like the next day or whatever, and we get to meet everyone. And that one chick's eating. I don't know what is she eating, like pork rinds or something. There's like a roach on there, dude. And it's like fucking. It's funny because like they're like trashing her because she don't like roaches on her food. They're like, oh damn, it's just like it's just a little bug. Cut them a break. I'm like, and she just keeps eating them after that, dude. Chris, if there was a big ass bug in your bag of chips, dude, like you just opened it and it is, would you just keep going at it, dude? You're like, nope, I paid the $3.
No.
No, you should throw a bucket of piss on them, dude.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, Debbie. So Debbie's she's the leather jacket, miniskirt wearing workout freak, right?
Supposedly, dude. I don't know. I don't think Mark's buying it though, dude.
Yeah, no, but I mean that's the character I'm thinking of, right? That's Debbie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Debbie.
And then Sheila is the nerdy girl with the asthma.
Mm-hmm. So after that, like, Kirsten's like trying to keep herself to stay awake from all this bullshit, and she ends up pulling. I'm just gonna I'm not gonna go scene for scene too much with this film because it's kind of boring. We'll just get to like the interesting death parts, So Kirsten pulls Alice in from her like dream, and Alice is kind of like a loser. She's like, she looks all pale and doesn't say anything. She's just kind of like whatever. And Kirsten pulls her into the dream, and she sees who Freddy is and gives her power. So now Alice is able to pull in other people into the dreams for Freddy, which is kind of like, okay, well, I guess everyone's just giving away powers and shit. And she just gets thrown into like water, like a watery fire, whatever, in the furnace. Is that what the fuck happens? Mark, do you remember any of that?
Chris?
I can't even fucking remember that.
Yeah, because she's like, you leave her alone, and then Freddy just picks her up, and he's like, no, nobody sleeps, and he throws her into the fucking furnace or whatever the fuck.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and that's
right.
Yeah, that's really the reason why Kristen goes to sleep is because like her mom puts the fucking sleeping pills in her fucking drink, dude.
Yes, that's when they're at the dinner table. She's like, oh, well, I have some things here that should help you. You eat this or whatever, and then she picks up. Yeah, she picks up the glass. I don't know why she keeps saying Andale, but she picks up the glass of water and like it looks cloudy, like maybe she might have crushed up one of the sleeping pills and put it in there, and just drops the glass. I don't know why you wouldn't set it back down. You just drop it out of nowhere, and then just, sleeping pills, and all that shit. So yeah, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. And that's it for Kirsten, dude. And after that, everyone else just kind of slowly falls away. Alice is sleeping in class. And that's when Sheila gets brought into a dream. And her dream is completely insane because it's like, what the fuck happens? It's like they're there in class. And I think it's, it's one of those things that Alice is like a daydreamer. So if she's daydreaming and someone else falls asleep, I guess she's able to bring them into the dream or something like that. Because like when Sheila dies, she mentions that she was studying all night for the class. So I guess she like fell asleep in class. And then all of a sudden she sees Freddy with his feet on the desk, cutting the apple. And it's and then he goes up to before that happens, there's like that weird ass robotic arm or whatever that like attacks Sheila's face. You know what I'm talking about? It's like it looks like a bug almost. And that's when Freddy goes up to her and he goes, "Want to suck face?" She's like,
yes.
Yeah. And then he just sucks the fuck out of her, dude. Like my ex-wife. So I thought that was pretty fucking hilarious. But
he had her looking like a deflated basketball.
Yeah, dude, she looked like she got over, dude. That's how I feel after some of those hangovers, dude, like that. But do you
What,
remember?
that comment? Oh, good.
Do you remember any of those death scenes, Mark? Any of the ones we talked about, dude?
Yeah, but I don't know, dude. They're too little. That sucking thing, I'm like, not interested, dude. Not interested at all. It just seems too. It just gets cornier and cornier, dude. Every fucking death, every kill, whatever, dude. It's just not interested, dude.
But then we have Debbie's death, dude. Debbie, the workout girl. You know, they're all like after all these people have died. Well, not all these people have died, but these ones have died. Debbie starts, saying, when does Rick die? Does Rick die before or? Let's see here.
No, he dies after Sheila.
Okay, so he was the next one coming out. So.
I've been running back on my tears, just that pressure down so.
That's why. So then Rick.
Okay, you're gone.
So Rick starts to believe Alice, and the next day he's killed, and he's killed the worst in the whole fucking film, and it ruins it for me. Cause I know Chris, like you said, he wasn't really like he wasn't getting over with you, but he was the only guy that kind of had charisma, and like we skipped him over, but with him, I liked him because it had the Karate Kid gimmick, is that he's there, like he at least has some kind of personality, like he works out, he's doing the kung fu with the settle down, like the best part of the movie, right, Mark?
No, the Dramarama, dude.
Yeah, Dramarama, dude. Anything, whatever, dude. So, that song's gonna get over on this podcast when we post it. But he's like the only guy that actually has some kind of personality, actually can act. Like, I hated Tuesday Night in this film. Like, nothing, Alice, nothing, everyone else, really nothing. But he's the only one that's kind of like, like he's all the stuff he says is kind of like memorable. Like he's hey, give a bug a break and then when the dad's drinking because he's an alcoholic, he's like, Dad, don't start. He's like, why? Because a little daydreamer can wake up or whatever. Because the dad serves him salad, dude. Can you imagine if Chris's daughter served him salad after an 8-hour workday, dude?
Oh, dude, fucking.
What is with this plate of
vegetation?
What is with this plate of vegetation after a 10-hour day?
Yeah, 10-hour workday. Try to think a little, Nancy.
And then she has the vision. She has the daydream fantasy of telling him, you know what, Dad? I'm tired of you drinking your life away, or whatever she says.
And taking it out on me. Yeah. So Rick, with his thing, it's like he just falls asleep on the shitter, dude. Have you ever done that, Chris?
No, I have not done that, thankfully.
Don't
Lord
fucking
knows there are plenty of times I could. No, there are plenty of times I probably could have, but have not done that. But no, but Rick, yeah, I mean this thing.
Go ahead, Mark. You have a question for him, dude? You have a question for him, Mark?
I find that very difficult to believe.
I have not.
Very difficult.
But this
guy that
scene,
can fall asleep anywhere is not falling asleep on the toilet. Is that what you're saying?
this scene, I think, as more than anything, right before Rick's death, is what makes, to the extent they could make the character Dan Jordan. I don't think they made him as good as they could in this movie, but to the extent they did, this is what did it, is the part where they're in the locker room and that one obnoxious jackass is talking about, oh man, can you believe this coach would have this, and this other team this, and blah, blah. And he points out Rick, and he's talking all fucking loud like Rick couldn't possibly hear him. He's all, man, that poor guy, his sister got murdered, and blah, 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 blah. And then Dan, puts him in his place, like, hey, shut the fuck up, don't talk shit about people like that. So that, the ultimate white meat babyface dominant guy is Dan. So, he's kind of like the sheepdog. He's kind of like the cool, tough guy. He's kind of like the guy that's nice, even though he's one of the cool kids. So that made him.
He got over with you then.
To an extent.
So, Rick's death is really cheesy. He just falls asleep on the shitter. A bunch of cheerleaders come in and fucking, I don't know what they do. They do their pom-poms in his face or whatever. And then he walks out, then he goes into an elevator and it goes down all the way down or whatever. And I think that was supposed to be his death scene, but they couldn't afford the budget where it was going to be he falls into space or whatever. And, but he shows up in a dojo or whatever. And then Freddy calls him Rick-san or some shit. Come on, Rick-san. And he's there getting beat. Freddy's beating him up but doesn't stab him. And then Rick kicks his glove. And then that's when the glove just stabs him. I'm like, what the fuck was the point of that, dude? gimmicky shit, that he knows the kung fu, dude. And they have the funeral, dude, and I always laughed at that. Hello, baby. And then like he says it there when she's daydreaming, and then later on she's watching like the old videos of him doing that shit too. So that's his, was it Big Bopper that does that shit, or who does that?
Yep.
Yeah, so
That's Big Bopper.
So yeah, that's it. And then Debbie's bitch ass is working out, doing her 25-pound bench presses, dude. Getting herself into tip-top shape. And do you want to talk about the death, Chris, and like get it over and kind of explain it, because it's like the most it's like the only death in the film where like they actually have some effects, like going on, like they actually have some fucking makeup on these motherfuckers.
Yeah, no, I mean, as best as I can remember the Debbie death, what I remember is she's listening to that up-tempo Sinead O'Connor song.
Yeah, come
and
on,
she's working,
come on. Yeah, well, go ahead.
and the lyrics like "Do it to me" or whatever. But so she's like bench pressing, doing whatever the fuck, and then that's like the worst thing that could ever happen to you is like if you're bench pressing with a bar, not with dumbbells, but a bar. And someone like is an asshole, like I'm pretty sure this happens in prison fairly frequently, and like someone's gonna be an asshole to you and like not let the bar up or whatever and press down on you, whatever the fuck. I mean, and that's what Freddy fucking does to Debbie. So I mean that happens, and then she like gets her elbows ripped off at the tendons in the process, and starts growing. Yeah, it starts growing roach legs out of her arms, and I just thought that was gross. It's just kind of like a lot of this movie was gross, and that's one example of that. And then she just finds herself turning into a roach crawling down the hallway, as best as I remember it.
Yeah, she turns into a roach, and she before she turns into a roach, like she's still like half human, like the fly, and then she falls into like that sticky shit that's in a roach motel, and like her face gets ripped off, and then she's full roach, and that's what Freddy goes, "You can check in, but you can't check out," and just crushes that shit, And there goes Debbie, dude. I don't know, Mark's got nothing to say about Debbie getting squashed, dude. It's a squash match for sure, right?
Squash match, dude. No, Chris is like, I was like, what would you say, Chris? You were disgusted, or what would you say? With that scene?
I mean, it was gross. I mean, just a lot of the movie is gross.
You're the only one that thought it was gross. Everybody else was turned on by it, Chris. So, end of discussion, dude.
Little boys all over America getting erections watching that scene, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, before a bucket of piss entered the room, so as Debbie's like fucking dying or whatever, Alice is trying to get Dan to go with her to save her, and then they go into some kind of loop. Where'd you say, Chris? If you had saw that, you're like, what the fuck? After the third time that they went into that circle.
Yeah, and I mean, and that was after that fucking bizarre fucking vintage theater scene that she was in, where she gets sucked into the screen and then becomes a character and whatever. All the people who had died earlier are watching her, clapping for her, and all this shit. Yeah. Well, anyway, so then there she finds herself back in the diner. Bless you. There she finds herself back in the diner, and she runs into her old self still working there. Because remember, fucking Sheila had said to her, "Hey, you don't want to work here the rest of your life. You got to study, Yeah. Well, then she runs into her old self, and then she gets out of there and sees Dan. He gets to the truck. So, I'm driving, Dan, and so like that scene happens, and I'm kind of fading in and out watching and stuff. Then I hear that same dialogue again, like a few minutes later. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't hit rewind on this.
Yeah, I think a few people have been tricked, like, because you're just like, what the fuck, deja vu or whatever. I like that scene, like, because you had said I forgot that she like goes into like the movie theater and she sees herself in the diner and all that shit, the Craven, and fucking Freddy goes, "Rick, you little meatball," or some bullshit, and eats the Rick pizza fucking sausage, dude, gets him over. You right? Is that the part that got over with you, Mark, or what?
When they killed Kincaid, that's my favorite part. Once that motherfucker gets murdered, it's all downhill from there.
He got murdered. Yeah, and then so that's when she sees Debbie and does that. But yeah, when Alice is trying to save Debbie, her and Dan just get into a wreck, and then Dan's the only one that's hurt, and she's fine though. And she leaves him in the hospital, goes back home, puts on all her gimmicks, because she's got all this power from everyone that's dying, dude, because she wasn't good on her own. She had to have everyone else die to give them their power. And she's supposed to be the Dream Master because she knows how to. What was her gimmick? That she was able to think of a place, like a nice place, some stupid shit. I don't remember. But yeah, she comes back. She takes off all the pictures on her mirror, and she puts the fucking, like all the stuff that the other people left behind that have died, and she jumps through the mirror, and then she goes into Freddy's dream world, and she does a showdown with him in church, right? It's like a church. It's just
in a church.
Yeah, in a church, and I was laughing, when we saw this the last time. I think I saw it with Mark, and he's like, "Yeah, Freddy's working, dude." When they're like doing kung fu with each other, I'm like, "What the fuck is Freddy doing, dude?" Instead of like being the guy that's in the shadows running after people, he's there like dancing, putting one fingernail up and pointing at Alice, and they kind of go back and forth for a little bit, and Freddy finally kind of gets the best of her, and then she finds that piece of mirror or stained glass, whatever, on the floor.
Yes.
And then she starts thinking of like all the nursery rhymes and shit. She's like, what was it, Chris? The evil will see itself, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, and that was when I was like, where did that nursery rhyme? When I don't remember the lyrics, but I remember hearing it, thinking to myself, I don't remember anybody saying that earlier in the movie, and maybe they did, and I just didn't catch it. Yeah. But the other thing I didn't get was, why does Freddy seeing himself, his reflection in a stained glass window, like, why does that harm him?
Well, the same reason why, when the chick from Part 2 kissed Jesse and Freddy just couldn't handle it, dude, and he died. And that's just, I don't know. That's why I've always said, like, the third one had a good way to kill Freddy. Like, everything else, it just seemed kind of like, well, how about he just looks in the mirror, dude? He's a piece of shit, dude. Or either that, or we could throw a bucket of piss on him. Which one do you think's better?
So, I mean, he couldn't see him. So when he wanders the salvage yard at night, like, and the industrial high lights are on, around there, so, like, he never caught his reflection in any of the windows of those cars?
Right. Yeah, exactly. He never saw him, dude. It sounds like a piece of shit, ending. But yeah, you see,
church glass. It's got to be church glass, dude. That's the difference.
That's what it is. It has to be the church glass. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, he sees himself, and he starts, and then all the fucking characters that had died start ripping out of his body and shit. And that's pretty cool, because he's like getting like held up against the wall and all kinds of shit, and you see the titties coming out of his chest from the other people that he's killed, and it's just weird looking shit. And then yeah, they rip his face apart. All the souls are escaped, and I always laugh at the end because it's so cheesy. Because they're like, once Freddy's dead, Alice and Dan are there at like a little pond or a wishing whatever thing, and she goes, well, "What'd you wish for?" And she's like, "I forgot." She goes, If I tell you, it doesn't come true."
True, exactly.
Yeah.
That was because she had seen Freddy the moment he dropped the coin in.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I did remember that now. I was like, what the fuck? So that's a Nightmare on Elm Street 4, dude. That's basically all there is. I mean, we could sit down and break down all kinds of shit. This movie is really just quotable, and this has some over-the-top scenes. Like, we didn't mention when Kirsten, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna think of a nice place, to be," and like she's on the beach, and that's when we see Freddy on the beach with the sunglasses and shit like that. All ridiculous.
But can I say, like, I mean, again, overall summary for me on this before we give the numerical rating, I think, again, the character intro of new characters was not great in this movie. I was expecting Rick to be like kind of a Zach Morris kind of character, because he slyly gets out of the house by jumping through his window and off the entryway, the porch and stuff like that, and bypasses his dad. Yeah. And I was expecting him to be like a Zach Morrissey, slick, sly, but cool kind of character. Mm-hmm. And he just didn't live up to that, in my opinion. He was just kind of a regular dude, who in high school that thinks he's cool, but he's average at best. And just like that, that's what that came across to me. I know you like him, but...
I didn't say he was great. I just said he was probably the best part of the movie, dude.
See, I can't go there. But as far as, the rest of the new characters, they didn't do a great job introducing them or explaining, or like... Alice's power, like the nature of her power and what exactly it is. Like, in Part 3, what Kristen's power is, she has the ability to pull people into her bad dreams. Yeah. Well, Alice has this, like, daydreaming power that they never really totally clarify it. So that's a problem. I do like you touched on a moment ago, I do like the lines Freddy uses before he kills people. That's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, it's so over the top on this one. That's like the only thing this film has going for it is that, well, even like the fact that Robert Englund is he's the name for when he has top billing for the opening credits. Like, his name shows like Robert Englund in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4. it's the Freddy show. Everyone's here to see Freddy. No one really. The other ones, it's like the first one, like here's a story about teenagers getting killed in their dreams. That's it. The second one is kind of like, Freddy's back and he's possessing somebody. The third one, it's like a bunch of kids are being abducted. But this one, it's like it's just Freddy. It's just Freddy now. They don't even care about the teens. It's just like he's just there. How can we get Freddy over? You know what I mean? How can we get Freddy like in like a action movie? It's like you don't care too much about the story. You just want to see some crazy fun shit, and that's what they do in this one. And yeah, I agree. It's not a good story, and Freddy's not Freddy anymore, dude. He's like, if you thought the third one was Freddy coming out too much in the light, being too jokey, well, this one's amplified like by times 10. There's like nothing really scary of Freddy other than he kills people. But I mean, okay, but there's nothing scary about him. He's not doing the same stuff as he was before, like really working people in the dark, hiding behind the pipes in the fucking boiler room. Now it's just like, come to Freddy, come to Daddy, and all that bullshit.
Open up, dude.
Chris, what are you eating tonight, dude?
I already told you.
All right, this will be number 3, but okay. I made thin sliced chicken breast, and I dipped it. First, I did an egg wash, dip it in there for a few minutes, and then after that, you roll it around in the Italian style Parmesan breadcrumb, whatever the fuck it is, and just then put that in a very, very shallow, thin layer of olive oil in my induction cooktop.
So it was undercooked.
No, it was fantastic is what it was. That was fabulous. And so I put the remainder of it. I ate half of it, and I left the other half for tomorrow. And it's in the freezer right now as we speak, and then I'm going to take that to work.
Why did
maybe
you
with
freeze
a side dish,
Why'd you
so
freeze
it stays over. Because I don't want it getting fucked up. So then tomorrow I'm going to have that during lunch too. So that was damn good. When you eat that fresh right out the pan, that is fucking fantastic. That's a winner.
Next time we're hanging out, we're gonna still have our own meal, right? But I want you to make that for Mark, and we're gonna see if it's a winner.
Oh, he'll hate it. Just because it's me, he'll hate it.
No, I'll be honest with you. I'll be like, oh yeah, it's good, dude. I don't have no problem telling you something's good, dude.
Oh, I know you will.
Okay, so.
But Mark will hate it just because. Mark will hate it just because it's.
Because it's the truth. What?
No, he's saying that you coddle him, dude. That's
no, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying, like, especially if it's a good conversation we're having, then he'll say, oh yeah, this is all right. I mean, I know you're not going to be all, on your knees praising me about it, but I know you'll say, hey, it's pretty decent. You could admit that. But Mark will hate it just because it's me.
No, Mark wouldn't do that, dude. I know my good friend.
I don't operate like that. I don't operate like that, Chris.
So before we get into Chris's rating, we're gonna do the old switcheroo, dude. Mark, you didn't say much about this film, dude, and I already know why, dude, because you're like, I'm not interested, dude. So give us what you thought about the film, anything you liked, and what's the thing you hated the most about this film, and give us a fucking rating, you piece of shit.
Well, the thing I liked the most and I hated the most was Kincaid, dude. Him getting killed was my favorite part, and him being in the movie is the part I hate the most, dude. I hate Kincaid, dude.
Man, well, that's fucked up, dude. That's my favorite part, dude.
It's got one of the best songs of the whole series, dude. And that's the only really redeeming thing for me, dude. That's the only thing that I find interesting, dude. The rest of it is just crap, dude. Especially the way it ends.
Yeah.
Or the way they kill Freddy, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, dude. The reflection, dude. The reflection in the church, dude. But other than that, dude, it's after part 2, it's all downhill, dude. From there, dude. That's all I gotta say about that.
Man. All right, Chris. What do you give this? Oh,
Actually,
what's your rating and all that shit? Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say scale of whatever Chris says is delish to actual good quality food, I'm gonna have to go this one. I'm gonna have to go 4, dude. 4. A little bit better than 3, dude. Half a cut hair better than 3, dude.
You like this one better than 3? Or are you crazy?
Yeah. It's got better music, and Kincaid dies right away, dude. Murder him right away. So get him out of the way, dude. Right away, get the fucking garbage out of the way, or the garbage that smells the most out of the way.
Chris, salvage the podcast for us, dude.
So I agree with Mark. That's a 4 rating. That's my rating for it. I mean,
wow.
This movie had a lot of potential, and it could have been so much better than it was, but it just wasn't. So.
Anything you liked about it? Anything you didn't like about it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say the opening theme was badass, and I liked the lines Freddy uses before he kills people. I mean, of all the movies, before, I mean, it always would say some before murder, but this one had the best ones, like the funniest, stuff like that. But he's still dastardly and evil. Like, he hasn't quite. I mean, from what I'm hearing, what I remember y'all talking about Part 5 and him being funny and not really that evil anymore. Like, he hasn't quite gone there yet. So, Dan, they could have done more to develop his character. I like his character, and they did something to kind of give you a feel for who he is at his core. But they could have done a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, with this one I grew up, and I was my favorite dude as a kid growing up. But yeah, now it's just kind of like, it's kind of one of those boring ass ones. It's kind of like when I talked about Hellraiser. I grew up being kind of like grossed out and kind of like, oh shit, And then I watch it again, and I'm like, man, this movie's kind of boring. This one has a lot of action, but I don't feel any kind of connection with any of the characters. The story's kind of, nothing really makes sense, and like, I'm okay with shit not having to make sense. It's fucking a Freddy movie. But this one just kind of has a bunch of random shit happening just cause, and it's kind of whatever. The soundtrack, I love it, dude. It's an awesome soundtrack from, almost from top to bottom. The other songs on here are pretty cool. I would have one thing that I don't like about this film is that they replaced Kirsten. And I don't think Patricia Arquette was a badass actress or anything like that. It's just that you want that consistency. You know what I mean? Like Rocky 1 and 2. Like, yeah, if Stallone was in Part 1. And then you have Part 2 with somebody else. Well, Part 2 is not as good as it would have been if you would have had Stallone, because now you have somebody else. That kind of ruins it. Even though Stallone's like this amazing actor, it's just like it, when you have that consistency with the character or the actor, then it kind of connects better. But I kind of disconnected me with it. And, Joey and Kincaid, they show up and they're just in and out like nothing. It's like, I was just thinking, I'm like, it would have been cool if like they just started off this film with this new characters. They're having these dreams or whatever, nightmares, and then they meet Joey and Kincaid. Like, hey, you had these dreams before too, and they can explain to them what's going on, and like none of that happens. Just like boom, you're dead, and no one cares, dude. And Kincaid's just stabbed dude in the fucking middle of the street like he's in Detroit, dude. Like no one cares, So, yeah, it just
way of putting it.
Yeah, they just stabbed him like no one cared, dude. No one, they didn't find his body in his dorm for like another 6 weeks after that, dude. No one came looking for him. But didn't y'all find it funny that they were all like in the asylum, 1 minute, and then they're all going to school, dude, the next, like, no problem?
Perfectly normal, dude. It's like the people that fly off the handle can go back into school and work the next day, no problem. I know a guy that transitions like that almost every day, dude.
It's like they're all in the psychiatric place, right? And then they fucking are back in school, do all to say, oh, nightmares went away, dude. Give my bucket of piss.
That's how I guess subconsciously explained it away. Well, not even because I actually did think about it in my head, but that's how I explained it away in my mind. Was like, okay, well, they stopped having nightmares, and on top of that, all the doctors except Sims died, so they probably just let him out for, who knows, a prevention of a malpractice suit or whatever the fuck. So that's kind of what I did to explain it away in my mind.
Yeah. For rating for me, I give it a 6 out of 10, dude, which is kind of high, but I enjoy it. But this was basically the last Nightmare on Elm Street film that I enjoyed. Like Mark said, it kind of starts going downhill. Yeah, well, the first 4 are the only good ones to me. After that, they start taking that dive bomb. So out of the first 4 we've seen, we'll get into the other ones, of course, and we'll do our real rankings. But, Chris, what do you rank these first 4 ones, dude?
If we're just these first 4, gosh, I'm gonna go with 3 being my favorite.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with. Gosh, man, that's tough. I don't know if I like 1 or 2 better. That's really tough. 4 is definitely number 4, and then, man, I really don't know where 2 goes and where 1 goes because, they're both good. But I guess what really puts over the top for me is that fucking parrot scene in the second one.
You piece of shit. Mark.
It's gonna go for me. It's gonna go 2, 1, 4, 3, dude.
Damn, you're just trashing
The
3.
second one's the best one, dude. The second one's the best one, dude.
For me, it's gotta go number 3. Man, dude, it's really tough for me because watching these films again, it gave me kind of like because like when we first saw part 1, I kind of was trashing it. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of boring, And then I watched part 2, and I'm like, this was really good. It's like dark and Freddy's working, this and that. And then I watched part 3, and I love all the characters, love all that shit we were talking about the other day. And then I was kind of like, when Mark was talking, and that kind of made sense, and I was kind of like, I kind of missed that Freddy where he's kind of like mean. Like this one, he's kind of like making too much jokes. Like, and I like part 3, but it was kind of like, it brought me back to the first 2 where it's like, Freddy was a mean motherfucker, dude. Like he had that bucket of piss with him all the time, dude. Now it's like, he's of course part 4 is my least favorite, but it made me kind of like take away part 3 is my favorite after kind of like kind of checking looking back at part 2 and 1. I'm gonna say part 1 is my favorite again, even though I was saying part 3 was my favorite, dude. But part 1 is my favorite. Number 2 would have to be, I don't know, part 2 now it's got me thinking if it's 2 or 3, dude. So I guess we'll have to rewatch them all, and I'm gonna rewatch them all, but I can't. I don't want Mark coming after me, dude, by putting part 2, any lower than top 2. But yeah, they're all pretty. The first 3 are badass, but this one kind of opened my eyes. I'm like, man, Freddy's a piece of shit now, dude. Don't y'all think?
No, I didn't get that because he's no less mean-spirited in terms of what he's doing to people, and I mean he is a hunter, viciously going after people aggressively. So I don't see the lack of meanness in him. Now, from what I've heard the description of part 5 from y'all's previous podcast on part 5, I am lamenting seeing that, especially as much as I didn't care for this one, and then hearing the review, I'm like, man, what is this gonna be?
Better buckle up your chonas, dude. So that from what I remember, part 5 it's probably my least favorite, dude. It might be, or at least top 2, but we'll get into that, dude. This whole Freddy, I don't know if this was such a good idea just to run through all the Freddys, dude, because we're just running them down, dude. Anything?
That's what
huh? What's wrong with that?
Mark?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
No, I guess we're just being honest, right? They all can't be winners, huh, kid?
I mean, one through 3 are fantastic. I had nothing against those 3.
Yeah. I guess that's what happens when you start doing, a bunch of horror movies, dude. They're not all gonna be like the first one, dude. So it's all good, man. It's all good.